cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gem Accessories. Gem Accessories is one of the leading accessory manufacturers within the trading card game space. Known for their deck boxes, Gem also has an amazing lineup of binders, backpacks, and more. Some of our personal favorites include the new KLRZ Icons deck boxes, the Secrets binder, and the Jaguar and Puma backpacks. But don't just take it from us, check out some of these reviews on screen. For all these amazing products and more, be sure to check out Gem Accessories using the link in the description down below or on Twitter at XGemAccessories. Again, the description down below or on Twitter at XGemAccessories. Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. I am Sunny. I am here with my co-host Caleb.
Hello.
And of course, before we get too far, we want to thank our wonderful sponsors. So a huge thank you to, of course, Gem Accessories, who you saw an ad for at the beginning of this video, as well as, of course, also ETB Games, and now also Dragon Shield Games out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Steelfox.
Oh. The old name used to be Dragon's Lair, and we have Dragon Shield, and I don't know, and their symbol is like a steel shield, like the Imperial symbol from Skyrim. And it's like
With a fox, yeah.
And it's with a fox.
Yeah.
And so it looks like a shield, and I don't know why I just
We are also sponsored by Dragon Shield as well, of course.
Also Dragon Shield and TCG Player. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can find affiliate links for Dragon Shield and TCG Player in the description down below. And of course, you can find links for both ETB Games and Steelfox Games in the description down below. The Steelfox Games one should be their TCG Player link. And also, we are sponsored by Millennium Threads. So a huge thank you to our entire wonderful list of sponsors. Now, let's go ahead and thank the wonderful patrons that make this possible. So a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Dragonmaid Stunzeed, Kane Martin. Konami, please initiate a ban list similar to Duel Links. In addition to the current ban list formula, signed April Floodgate the... And then it cuts off because after the, it's like too much text for Patreon to handle. So whoever this is, I appreciate the comedy of your name, but it's too long.
Yep.
There is actually a limit. Zyphers, Yeet Defeat, Blackwing, Silver in the Ascendant is the best Floodgate, Earth Machine, best deck, Epi. Has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber? I'm not a man, I'm not a god. I am Lido Lee. I am McLincoln, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado. Pingu is the best deck, Newt. I'm glad you get that reference. Quitting the game as a Floodgate, Sprite Farter, Unbanned number 95 Konami. Understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Xavier's World, Rogue, and Tier 2 are the polite terms for bad deck. AD, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Bestial Pizza Hut, Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Eldritch, the Lord of Floodgates and Monkey Brains, Furhire Dog Turd, Heroes, Pebble Cereal, Cam, the Disciple of Caleb's Waifu Philosophy, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Santa Claus, and Why Are Sword Soul players inhaling so much copium? Because we are built different. Simply built different.
Obviously.
So we have once again a fair amount to talk about today, right?
Oh yeah.
So we have in addition to all of the new cards that we still haven't talked about.
Yep. We got new cards got release date, and we also have the full set list for Amazing Defenders.
Yes, for the TCG.
Yeah.
And in addition to the full set list for Amazing Defenders and all of the new cards, we also are going to try to get to mailbag questions. So
yeah. So in order to kind of plow through the Amazing Defenders real quick, because we've already talked about all these cards, I would say let's just limit it to the reprints and the reprinted collector rares. Just kind of keep it short.
Okay, before we get started though, just for the sake of me remembering, if you're on our YouTube, please check that subscribe button. It just takes a moment. And if you're on iTunes or Spotify, we would love it if you would, if you're not already subscribed or follow, that would be much appreciated. Leave a review if you want, or if you're on YouTube, leave a comment. Tell us maybe some things that you'd like to see, something like that. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord server yet, you should definitely join. It's the place where we pretty much get all of our mailbag questions and things like that. So I would definitely say that the Discord server is worth joining. It is really a great community and something that I truly enjoy having around. So I am going to quickly roll through the whole thing.
All right.
So starting with EN001, we have Rescue Ace, Impulse, Airlifter, Monitor, Hydrant, Fire Attacker, Fire Engine, and Turbulence. Those are all Rescue Ace cards.
The Hydrant and Turbulence are both collector rares.
Okay, cool. Yes. And also Rescue Ace HQ. And then you have what are like the spell trap cards of it, which are Rescue, Alert, Contain, and Extinguish. And they're all in like all caps. So it's like Rescue, Alert,
Contain, Extinguish.
Yeah. The truly the fireman archetype. So next we have the Purelies. So we have Purely, E Purely Happiness, E Purely Beauty, E Purely Plump, E Purely Happiness.
Or X Purely
Oh,
Happiness.
X Purely. So we have E Purely Happiness and X Purely Happiness and X Purely Noir, which are the Happiness X Purelies. The two of them are both collector rares. Then we have Stray Purely Street, My Friend Purely, Purely Happy Memory, Purely Pretty Memory, Purely Delicious Memory, Purely Leap, Purely Yeep. It's Purely Yeep. Yeah.
Yeep.
Wow.
Yeah. Also the
My Friend.
Yeah, but also Purely and My Friend Purely are also both collector rares.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
There's 4 collector's rares for the Purelies. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have Hari the Sword Mikanko, Nini the Mirror Mikanko.
Both collector's rares.
Yes. Ohime the Manifested Mikanko, Heavenly Gate of the Mikanko, The Great Mikanko Ceremony, Mikanko Fire Dance, Mikanko Purification Dance, Mikanko Water Arabesque, Mikanko Reflection Rondo,
which is also collector rare.
Yep. Mikanko Kagura, Mikanko Promise, Mikanko Rivalry, Gizmek Naganaki, the Sunrise Signaler, Infernoble Knight Renowned.
As a collector rare, which is weird.
Yep. Reinforcement of the Army, 1-for-1.
Really cool collector rare.
Yeah, this is in my opinion the best collector rare in the set. Hidden Armory, Infernoble Arms Durandal, which is a good reprint. That Durandal was actually still like a $6 or $7 card, and for that matter, Renowned was still like a $15 card.
Yeah.
Double-edged Sword, Xyz Import, Xyz Tribal Rivals, Card Trooper.
No, the second best collector rare in the entire set.
Yes. Arm Protector Dragon, Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher.
Another collector.
Yes. Immortal Phoenix Gearfried as a super. Infernoble Knight Roland, Saravius the Ancient and Ascended. Isolde, Two Tales of the Noble Knights.
The last collector rare, which is pretty cool.
Yes. Limiter Removal, Machine Duplication, Preparation of Rites, Overlay Regen, Sprite's Blessing, Sacred Scrolls of the Gizmek Legend, Puri Resmap, and Xyz Reborn. So, I would have been happier if Limiter Removal was like a super rare, but rather than Overlay Regen. Overall, though, I give this set, if you factor in competitive aspirations of the new archetypes, factor in the quality of reprints and the choices for rarity upgrades into collector's rares, I give this set like a 3 out of 10. Yeah,
Poopy.
this says it's stinky.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, the 3 archetypes are cool, but they're just not able to keep these archetypes would have been good 2 years ago?
Yeah, they would have been really good 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 years ago was Eternal format. They would have been good 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 years ago, Caleb.
Yep.
That was Eternal format. That was 2019.
Yep. We weren't playing in that. We were playing then.
Oh gosh. Oh no. I'm getting old. Oh no.
You're getting old.
You're getting ancient. Oh nay.
You're only as old as you feel.
So, okay. I saw a video, and it was like this woman recorded this on her home security cameras 20 years ago, and somebody commented, They didn't have home security cameras commonplace 20 years ago. And then they commented back on their own thing and they were like, y'all, I just realized 20 years ago was 2003. They probably did.
Yeah.
He goes, I thought 20 years ago I was thinking 1985.
No.
Dude, can you think about that? 1985 is almost 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's 38 years ago.
That's just... Okay. I gotta... 1980 is closer to the end of World War II than it is today.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Okay. All right, so... Yeah, this set is terrible. The reprints are not good.
They're cool, but not...
The most expensive reprint in this set was like $15.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted to play Infernoble Knights, realistically, yes, this will be the cheapest Infernoble Knights have ever been. But realistically, the overall core of Infernoble Knights was already really cheap. The biggest issue with playing Infernoble Knights wasn't the cost of playing the deck. It was not prohibitive, in my opinion. The biggest issue was that every time you turned around and found a new combo line for the deck, it got hit on the ban list because every other deck was abusing it more than you were.
Yep.
So that to me is the bigger issue.
Like, I'm surprised that Isolde hasn't gotten banned yet.
I mean, they're banning every other major combo piece. They banned... Okay, so... They banned Link Cross.
Yep.
They banned Auroradon. They banned Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many other combo pieces can you take away from Infernoble before they're unplayable? I mean...
Yeah. Like, Isolde is just one of those cards that's just so easily abusable. I'm surprised they haven't banned it yet.
Yeah, but at this point, it's only abusable in Infernoble Knights.
Which is fair. Like,
are you noticing how we're talking about the competitive viability of Infernoble Knights 2 years after their release, instead of talking about the 3 new sets, the 3 new archetypes that are in this set?
Yeah, that should really...
That should clue you in on something.
Yeah. But like all Isolde needs is like a good warrior archetype to come along and...
Isolde doesn't need a good warrior archetype to come along. There's plenty of great warrior decks. What it needs is... Warriors need a more mid-rangey deck that can better take advantage of Isolde's abilities rather than...
Just using her to turn 2 of them into 3. 2 warriors into 3.
Yeah, I mean, normal summon Neospatian Connector is already an Isolde.
Yeah.
Like you don't need... There's no reason to... It's not that they need more an archetype that's better at getting into Isolde. You already have 1 card ways into Isolde.
Yeah.
But that's because Isolde is not what they need. They just need a way to be more mid-rangey. Because all the warrior decks are hyper combo.
Well, no, like that's what I'm saying, though. They just need a good warrior archetype to come along and just be like, I'm super mid-rangey naturally.
You're right. I mean, that would be the way to... I think the best version of that is, aren't Exo Sisters?
They're super mid.
But aren't some of them warriors?
I think all the main deck one are warriors, and then all the extra deck ones are spellcasters, maybe? Or
vice versa.
Or vice versa, something like that.
The point is, even they're not going to use Isolde.
Well, no, because they're an Xyz deck.
Right.
A Link Spam...
It would have to be a really specific kind of deck.
Yeah. It'd have to be like a weird Link Spam...
hybrid thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The point is, this set's bad, and Konami should feel bad for printing this set.
Yeah. Moving along to the new cards.
Yes. So let's start off with Fusion Duplication. So this is a normal trap card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Target 1 Polymerization normal or quick play spell card, or Fusion normal/quick play spell card in any graveyard. Banish it, and if you do, this card's effect becomes that card's effect when the card is activated.
Keep in mind, it says effect. No cost need apply with the cards like Super Poly.
Right, so also something like Red Eyes Fusion.
Yeah. Something you could do hilariously is set this and Super Poly, interrupt your opponent with Super Poly, and they keep going, interrupt them a second time with the same Super Poly.
Yes. Yes, you can do that.
Which is funny.
Yes, it is exceedingly funny.
This is definitely the card's all right. It's funny more than anything else.
it's very funny, but it's also extremely mid. It could see play as like an extra form of interaction potentially. I just don't see it though, because even like it would have to be in a deck that runs both Super Poly and other fusion cards.
To me, if it feels that definitely feels like a deck that just kind of, where like all the monsters.
You mean a card?
Yeah, well, it feels like a card that would go in a deck where the archetype is centralized around specifically any card with fusion or polymerization in their name. So like normal summon, search for a polymerization or fusion card, and then maybe like some fusions in the extra deck that when they're fused together, recur them back, and it's like, well, cool. I just searched both this and Super Poly, set them both pass.
So the things that stick out in my mind that did that are like Fluffles.
Yeah.
They can search polymerization through the Patchwork engine,
but not fusion cards.
Right.
So then you have to top deck this and then search Super Poly.
Prank Kids could search a fusion card, and they also used polymerization. So Prank Kids maybe, but Prank Kids are unplayable now because of Meow Meow Moo being at 0.
Exactly.
So I genuinely don't know. I think
it's definitely,
there may have been one other deck, but I can't.
Yeah, it's
put my finger on it.
It's definitely a card to kind of keep in the back of your head that it exists.
Yeah, but it's not good.
No, not right now.
Well, yeah, it's not abusable.
It's got potential. Just
it's a good card, but it's not abusable, which for right now means it's not good. Despia.
Despia's
like the older version of the Despia, where they would go
good.
into Guardian Chimera, and Guardian Chimera needed polymerizations and stuff.
Yeah,
so you're running like a Patchwork engine, and that deck could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still so situational.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have we finally got the effect for a V-Jump promo card.
Super Heavy Samurai Constable.
Yes.
Earth Machine, level 4, 500 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. It's not awful. 2, if you have no spell or traps in your graveyard, you can tribute this card to special summon an Earth Machine with 1500 attack or less from your hand or graveyard, except another copy of itself. It's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just another extender for the Earth Machine deck, because I'm pretty sure they could abuse that somehow. Probably.
Okay. I don't know anything about Super Heavy Samurai, so I don't know if this card's abusable or not.
Oh, easily.
Gotcha.
Within their own archetype, very easily abusable, because they're all Earth Machines, and almost all of them have really low attack values. I think like the highest attack value is maybe 1800, but that's because they attack with their defense value.
Right. All right, next we have Dual Avatar Lion and Voice Aun.
I love saying Aun.
Aun. This is a Warrior Fusion effect monster, light, level 4, 0 attack, 0 defense. 2 dual avatar monsters is materials. 1, this card gains these effects based on the original names of the fusion materials used for its fusion summon. Dual avatar empowered Kongyo. If your dual avatar monster battles, its attack becomes 3000 during damage calc only. And the other is dual avatar empowered Mitsujaku. Once per opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one card on the field, banish it.
Okay.
And the second effect is, if this fusion summoned card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 dual avatar fists Yuhi and 1 dual avatar feet Kokoku from your deck, and if you do, they cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, but do dual avatars have inherent ways to fusion summon?
I don't know. I think a lot of them have pseudo contact fuse effects, maybe. I don't know.
Potentially, even.
Yeah.
The world may never know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a decent card in a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have a way to get into it, it's a great boss monster for the deck.
Yeah. Next up, we have Security Force Night Chaser, or as it's called in the TCG, S-Force Night Chaser. Gotta say, this is one of the more cooler card arts. Not gonna lie. Link 1, Dark Cyburst. Ooh, it's a Link 1. Oof.
Scary.
Monster, 800 attack. Link, points directly down. Materials: a non-link S-Force monster. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters cannot target monsters in that column for attacks. Okay? 2. During the main phase, quick effect. You can target an S-Force monster you control, shuffle into the deck, and then special summon one of your banished S-Force monsters. This card's effect seems to be a modified version of Chiyumaru's, for whatever relevance that may have. I like the artwork, but I have no idea if it's actually any good.
Yeah, I have no idea. I know that the S-Force has an association with these Psi frames.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next, we have the other Abyss cards. So we have some various
random
cards from the Branded and Albaz
and Bestials
lore.
Aluber duber duber.
So first we have the Bestial Aluber, level 4 Dark Dragon Tuner effect monster, 1800 attack, 0 defense. This card is searchable off of Magnamon. Wow. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1, this card's name becomes Fallen of Albaz while in the field or in the graveyard. 2, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 dragon monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard to activate one of these effects. First effect is send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, take control of that monster on the field until the end phase. Second one is send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that monster from the graveyard to your field. Okay.
Neat. Next up we have Fallen of Argyros. Level 2 Dark Tuner Thunder Monster.
It's not a tuner.
Level 2 Dark Thunder Monster. My brain saw the T and went tuner. 700 attack and defense. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the third effect of this card's name's effect once per turn. 1. If there is a level, rank, or link 2 monster on the field, special summon this card from your hand to either field. Link monsters that point to this card cannot activate their effects. 3. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can target an Xyz monster on the field. Detach 2 materials from it. This is just Sprite. Oh,
which is funny because if you look at the artwork, it looks like Sprite Red and Sprite Blue.
Yeah.
Combined to make this guy.
With Blue's jacket.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they make elf, you just go, hey, that's a nice elf. That's a nice elf. Special to one of the zones that elf points to.
Huh.
Well,
it's not a quick effect.
Yeah. Never mind, doesn't work like. Well, it would at least prevent. Well, it's an inherent summon based off of this, so you could at least prevent your opponent from recurring one of the level 2s.
It is a summon that does not start a chain. So, what you can actually do is, if there is a level, rank, or link 2 monster on the field,
special summon to either field.
You can summon it to your field. And then, in theory, if he's still in your field and your opponent goes into totally awesome, you can activate his effect to detach both materials from Toad. Or, guess what?
Well, I mean, couldn't you also activate his effect just detach?
Gigantic Sprite is not a quick effect. So in response to the summon of Gigantic Sprite, you can activate his effect and detach both materials from Sprite, and they can't activate Sprite. Gigantic. That is so funny.
If only a summon was a quick effect, so right before.
I would argue that it's being a summon that does not start a chain is better.
That's entirely fair because then they can't activate anything in response.
Right.
Isn't Sprite Elf's effect a quick effect?
They can activate things in response. It's just a lot harder to stop.
Yeah.
Sprite Elf's effect is a quick effect. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a quick effect if you control a monster.
Yeah. So what you could do is during the at the end of the Sprite end board, if you yourself don't use Exceeds, you can just at the start of your draw face stand by main, effect special summon to the zone that elf points to. It negates the elf, so they can't recur anything.
Right. And also, it makes other things that elf points to targetable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because then you can target the only other thing that elf would be pointing to.
Right.
And then you can.
This card's kind of whack.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful, right? Because then, if you summon an Xyz monster, they can detach materials from your Xyz.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're not an Xyz deck,
This card could be really skillful in a Sprite Mirror match.
oh, absolutely.
That card could be really skillful.
Particularly because you can.
That's interesting.
Particularly because you can also use it as starting material if you're.
Also, are the Therians part of the Albaz lore?
Yeah. Yes.
I did not realize. I thought they were part of the Visa Starfrost lore.
No. Kit went to go fetch them to help fight against
The Dogmaticas.
the Bestials, I think.
The Bestials? Oh, dude. This is why I can't keep up with lore in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just the worst.
The lore I prefer is
going off of pictures.
My preference for the lore is like the lore behind the ban list being an actual prison. Where there's
somebody's been on Twitter today.
I've been on Twitter for months, but no, because
I mean today specifically.
Really? I haven't really been on Twitter today.
There's no way you just came up with that out of the blue.
Well,
without at least going past it on Twitter, because that was an MBT post on Twitter today.
Oh, I don't know.
It's one of his famous Twitter threads.
Well, no, because I was going through some cards that just laying on my desk, and I saw that one of them was like from that. It was like the one with Goyle like trying to get through the gate and just against the laser fence. I'm like, that's funny.
That's a wild thing. In fact, that's what's actively open right now on the other tab.
Really?
Yes, I actively had this open.
Oh my god.
And that's the picture that he used was Goyo trying to get through the electric fence.
Go figure.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way you didn't see this stuff.
Yeah, and then there's the other one with Relinquished leaving. And then there's the one with Songen and...
Yeah. Thousand Eyes Restrict is getting off the ban list.
And leaving.
But Plushfire, Goyo, what is that? Shockmaster, and what is this?
That's Elder Entity
Norden.
Yeah.
All still behind the barrier banned.
And then there's also one with Songen and Witch of Black Forest, and Songen's like at the jail bars like, let me out of here.
Yeah, like mistaken arrest or something.
Yeah, which is part of the mistaken arrest lore with Tour Guide.
That is a lore that I can get behind because it's very funny.
Yeah, it's not only is it funny, it's simple and it's just kind of cool. Or like the Scrap Kong Goblin.
I don't know.
Okay, so this is actually related to a card we talked about in the last episode. That's like first purchase of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it starts with like the little goblin kid getting a Scrap Kong t-shirt for his birthday and him not liking it, but his dad sure likes it and has one too, so they match. And it's just that kid going through different holidays and just failing every single one.
Wow.
And then last purchase of the year is like the only card where he's actively happy.
Oh, okay.
It's for a holiday. It's sad.
Is the next card yours or mine?
That'd be I read a Gyros, so it'd be yours.
Ice Jade Azurine Ran. The level 7 Water Aqua Tuner Effect Monster. 1500 attack, 2500 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. 1, you can discard one other Ice Jade card or water monster, special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Ice Jade token, which is an Aqua Water level 3, 0 attack, 0 defense. While that token is in the monsters and the player summoned, it cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except water monsters. 2, this card name becomes Ice Jade C-Note Aeneon Cradle while it is equipped with an equip card.
Fun fact, Ran is the Nordic goddess attested to be the wife of Geimer. So, funnily enough, whenever you're reading that first effect, my brain immediately went, that's just an instant, that's just literally, hey, I summon, discard a water monster, boom, I now have a Baron. Then I was like, then he said, you can only special summon waters.
Yeah, but you have to discard an Ice Jade card or water monster also.
Well, that's the same. You discard a water monster, special this, and then boom, you have a level. You could
it's a Cheng Ying.
Yeah, it's a Chen Ying.
Sword Soul Sovereign Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying.
Yeah, in Sword Soul specifically, the cost of discarding Shadana or Moyi.
Yes.
Which isn't awful.
Or another copy of itself.
Yeah, or another copy itself. Like, all of that, like, that's not awful, actually.
It's really not, and if it's in your hand at the end, in theory, you could use it as the discard piece to end on an extra level 10? Really not the worst card in the world as far as
I mean, like, what
synergies with Sword Soul.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I think it would
purposeful it is in the Ice Jade deck. I don't really know. I've been told by our local Discord Ice Jade player that I shouldn't just call the card bad because it says Ice Jade, but I'm tempted to call the card bad because it says Ice Jade.
Well, the thing is, like, you just
I'm sorry to our moderator who specifically said don't call it bad because it's Ice Jade.
Yeah, but like I don't know how it functions in Ice Jade specifically, but just as a free level 10 water synchro, it's not awful. The only level 10 water synchro I couldn't even think of one. You thought of the Sword Soul one. Is there any other level 10 water synchros?
I'm sure there is others. I'm sure there's others.
Like, the power of that card is very specific to the power of level 10 water synchros.
Well, you know what? There's one fast and easy way to find out. But we were also told, if you talk about S-Force on the podcast, here's a quick rundown. Oh. All the main deck monsters, except for one, have minor floodgate abilities if they are in the same column as an opponent's monster.
Okay, her floodgate ability was that is that monster in the same column as your S-Force monster can't declare attacks on the monster in their same column, which is kind of cool.
Okay. So it is like playable.
Yeah. I mean, it protects your S-Force monsters from being attacked by the thing in their column. But the issue is that something from the column next to them can still just run them over.
There are 4 water synchros.
Level 10?
Yes.
All right, what we got?
Cheng Ying.
Okay.
White Aura Bahamut.
Okay, White Aura Bahamut.
But that requires a tuner synchro monster. So it's not makeable.
Yeah.
Ice Jade Azurin Gymir.
Okay, so
which
it's a free
is an
Gymir.
OCG card currently.
And then his wife synchros in a Gymir. That's pretty cool.
So Ice Jade Azurin Gymir. And then that one that I just read, Azurin Ran, synchros into Gymir specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one is Goatee of the Deep Beyond, which requires a fish tuner. So it's literally Gymir or Cheng Ying.
Yeah, that's literally
it.
Okay, so yeah, so it's actually not great.
Yes.
So moving right along, next up we have Guiding...
Well, I mean, it's potentially playable. I'm not gonna say it's not great.
No.
I'll say it's bad, just because he specifically says do not call it bad. But
mean.
I'll say it's far from the worst Ice Jade card.
Next up we have Guiding Quim the Virtuous, level 4 light spellcaster tuner effect monster, 1500 attack and defense. This card is always treated as a Dogmatica and a Despia card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send a Fallen of Albaz or one card that mentions it from your deck to your graveyard. 2. If this card leaves the extra deck, if a card leaves your extra deck, you can target a Fallen Albaz or a monster that mentions it except herself in your graveyard to special summon it. Alright. I guess. Not great.
I mean, it's just a new Ecclesia card.
Yeah. Well, no, she's not Ecclesia. She's specifically not Ecclesia. Her name's Quim.
But she's the Virtuous with the same stats and the same...
Yeah, but she's not...
Typing and subtyping.
Yeah, but she's not Ecclesia. Because both times...
Basically Ecclesia.
Yeah, she functions as a type of Ecclesia, but she's not... In the lore-wise, she's not Ecclesia, because they're pretty good about... They've been pretty standardizing. If it's Ecclesia, that is the card. Her name is on the card.
I mean, it looks like Ecclesia.
I mean, it kind of looks more like a Fleur-de-Lis.
I don't know what Fleur-de-Lis looks like outside the armor.
Iris Sword Soul. The samurai
is
lady. That's Fleur-de-Lis outside of her armor.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They have the same long white hair.
That doesn't mean anything. Plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh characters have long white hair.
Fair. But
you can't characterize somebody based on just long white hair.
Fair. But lore-wise, I remember Konami coming out saying yes, that Iris Sword Soul is Fleur-de-Lis outside of her armor. And
I disagree.
Sword. So you disagree with Konami, sure.
Yeah. All right, next we have Branded Etude. Etude. Continuous trap card. You can only use the first and second. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. During either player's turn, you can, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using monsters you control as material, including at least 1 dragon monster. 2. While you control a bestial monster, any monster sent to your opponent's graveyard because they tributed it for a ritual summon or used as material for a fusion synchro or link summon is banished instead.
That's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Note, an etude is a short piece of music designed to give a performer practice in a particular area or skill. It can also refer to etude theater, a form of improv theater designed to help strengthen an actor's ability to ad-lib.
Okay.
Neat.
Okay.
Next card we have is a whole new, moving off of that stuff, Trap Track. It is a normal trap card. You can only activate 1 card this card's name per turn. 1. Target a monster you control. Destroy it, and if you do, set a normal trap from your deck, except another copy of this card. It can be activated this turn. Also, you can only activate 1 trap card for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. It's just another form of trap trick.
Yes, but with slightly different
activation conditions.
Right. And you don't have to banish the same card from your deck.
Yeah, you pop one of your own monsters instead.
Right.
It's usable.
So next we're going to talk about Powerful Pro Knight Sisters. So essentially, Konami decided to do a really cool collaboration with themselves. So this is from, it just says OCG on it. We don't even know if we're ever going to get these cards. But we apparently got a Dark Magician and Harpy Lady Sisters parody cards last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we are getting a reinforcement of the Army alternate art where it looks like a baseball team running with a baseball bat instead of a guy running with a sword.
Yeah, it's a reference to a game Konami's made.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And another one called Powerful Pro Knight Sisters, which is a level 4 light warrior normal monster.
Which is a parody on Noble Knight Brothers.
Oh, okay. So 1200 attack, 2400 defense, and the flavor text is the 3 navigators of the powerful pro world. Left, Po-chan is cheerful, energetic, and responsible, but the fly in the ointment is she's forgetful. Right, Were-chan is gentle, serious, and calm, but sometimes loses her temper. Center, in the middle is Namiki, the girl's big-time senpai, whose trademark feature is her bag, and her beloved dog, Chikua. The girls lead the players to the stadium where they'll finally face their destiny. And once there, the players take a big step forward. This is the beginning of everything, the great history of baseball.
The last part of the text is a modified version of the flavor text for Noble Knight Arturgus in the OCG, stylized like the TCG poem.
Right.
Which is interesting. So, that fateful day, the ball players went forth to where the ball stadium didst lay. 'Twas the first of many feats so great, the tales of the baseball players.
So I guess it's just like they're trying to do like a baseball lore with the Noble Knights lore that they already had.
Yeah, they're referencing the same game that something baseball kid from like the original Fire Structure deck is referencing.
Okay, I thought that some of the art looked familiar. It looks like Baseball Kid.
Yeah, it's referencing the same game that card's referencing.
I do actually remember. I didn't realize that card was a reference, but I vaguely remember the Baseball Kid card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's like a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! You wouldn't realize were references, but are actually in fact references to various video games from Konami.
Right. So next we have a new Dynamorphia card.
Ooh.
And this one's all you, bud.
Oh, hold on. I had it and I accidentally closed it.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yes,
Why do you do these things, Caleb?
I'm just awful sometimes. I apologize. I'm a professional.
That's a lie. You're awesome all the time. I love you, Caleb.
I just reopen? No. I don't use my phone for this thing very often, so...
No, Caleb, don't do it.
Here it is. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. Dynamorphia Intact. Counter trap. You only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. 1. When a monster effect is activated and you control a Dynamorphia card, pay half your life points. Any battle damage you take for this turn becomes half your life points at the time you would take the damage. Also negate the activation if you destroy the monster. So, that's interesting. 2. During damage calculation, while your life points are 2,000 or less, if you would take damage, you can banish the card from your graveyard if you take no battle damage. So basically, whenever you activate his first effect for the turn, any battle damage you take is it's just modified to be half your life points.
Wow.
So if you activate this, then you just take like a bunch of hits to the face. They literally cannot reduce you to 0. They can get you down to 1. And then from there,
crazy.
And then from there, it's just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
But never quite enough to kill.
Nope. Because you'll always get dropped down to 0.5, which then rounds up to 1.
This card feels really, really good for Dinomorpheus.
It really does, particularly because now it's hey, do you want to get me closer to my end goal, which is to have 2,000 or less life points? Keep attacking. Come on, do it.
This is kind of crazy. This feels really good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still locked into being a counter trap.
Yeah, but it's still a Dinomorphia card that helps them with their strategy, and it's like a good card.
Oh yeah, it's very solid. But the biggest issue with it is, again, it being a counter trap means that if your opponent just kind of Harpy Feather Dusters or Lightning Storms you, and you don't have a way to stop it, you just kind of shrug and go, game 2?
Potentially. Next, we have a new card called the Boundless Open Land. So this is a field spell card, which it is the very final card that ends all of the Albaz lore, apparently.
I love the first line of the YG organization article about this card. Roll credits, Q Smash Mouth's All-Star.
Somebody once told me.
You gotta be careful with that on YouTube, bruh.
You're right. That was really good. I don't want to get us in trouble.
No. They don't even care anymore how good it is.
That's true. But it was really good. That one might get struck.
I think we'll be fine with just the first 5 words. Hopefully.
4 words.
Anyway.
The world is gonna roll me.
Dude, don't risk it. Just
don't tempt fate. Okay. Field spell card. 1. If your opponent special summons a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and/or Link monster or monsters, you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. Add 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand, or 2. Special summon 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it from your hand.
Note, this card's name is a reference to how the continent of Abyss, which originally described at the start of the story a land cut off from the rest of the world, now is a world freed and open with endless possibilities for the future. As a note, this is the first time it appears Yu-Gi-Oh's long format themes have had a tragic or bittersweet... Haven't had a tragic or bittersweet ending.
Big difference between have had one and haven't had one.
Yeah.
So.
We finally got to end all the new cards.
I think, hopefully, that will be all of the cards from CYAC, Cyberstorm Access.
It's not. We're going to get more.
Don't say that. Don't put that on me.
Hold on, let me make sure that we didn't get any new ones as we were recording.
As it has happened several times. But I just looked and I don't think we did.
No. Just still help wanted ad.
Right. So the question now becomes, Caleb.
Yes.
Do you want to do a bit of mailbag questions?
Yes, let's do mailbag.
Okay, so mailbag questions. I gotta pull it up. All right. This is the wrong tab. Okay. So we have gotten a bunch of these.
Yep, let's just kind of...
All right. Rank these qualities and skills you find most important in a partner. Can cook, funny, makes you laugh, has money, responsible with money, open communicator, blunt, honest, self-sufficient, like thrive without others' help, has their own interests, can kick your butt at Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic and Pokemon, emotionally stable, and all that. Yeah.
Like, a lot of that, to me, doesn't really matter. You know, like, none of those are deal breakers. Like,
really?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if they're really awful with money, that's kind of its own thing. But it's like, oh, they must have these things. I'm like, no, they don't have to have any of those for me. That's
okay. So, can cook is not a deal breaker for me because I actually like cooking.
Yeah, no, I can cook.
funny, as in makes you laugh, wasn't a big deal for me, but having a good sense of humor is important, right?
That is fair. Able to actively take a joke.
Yeah. Has money and is responsible money was a big one for me. My parents split up because of, I'll just say, financial issues. So if that was a big one for me, was us being on the same page with that. Open communicator, I've made that a priority in our marriage because communication is extremely key.
I mean, yeah, communication is important.
Bluntness and honesty. Honesty is important.
But
that's part of communication, I think.
Yeah, no, that's part of communication. But you can also be honest and not be blunt, is the thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know that being blunt is necessarily important.
Because I found that when people say I'm being blunt, what they really mean is I'm being...
I'm going to insult you now.
Yeah, I'm just going to straight up insult you. And you're going to accept it.
Right,
right. That's what I found when people say I'm blunt, it really means.
Yeah, a lot of people use they'll say like, "Oh, I'm going to be blunt for a minute."
You're ugly. Right.
It's like, you're just dead ugly. And it's like, you're not being blunt, you're just being mean.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being blunt and just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Cuz some people will describe themselves as a blunt person. It's not that they're blunt, it's just that they're mean.
Yeah, they're just a jerk.
Yeah.
There are other words we'd like to use, but we're trying to keep it PG.
I would say that I'm a rather blunt person most of the time. But it's usually because I'm just very to the point most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
I don't do well with certain, like, for me, when I want to communicate something and I want to discuss something, and Caleb will like attest to this. Like, when I want to say something, it's not about saying like all this lead up. Like, if I call you for a reason, I'm going to call you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to discuss that reason. And then, like, from there, I can move on into a different conversation or hang up the phone.
Yeah.
But, like I'm to the point, which I would describe as more blunt than just being mean.
Yeah. No, well, like it's definitely a very fine line between being blunt and just being a jerk.
Yeah.
But, like, what I found hilarious is that everyone who's being a jerk just say that they're blunt.
Right.
Yeah.
Self-sufficiency. This one actually wasn't that big of a deal to me.
Well, I mean...
Because I can be self-sufficient, but I also really like having others around. So, like, I see both sides of it.
Well, that's the thing, because what do they mean by self-sufficient? Are they able to...
Thriving without others' help.
That's just kind of existing.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. I think, like, it's a good thing to ask others for help.
Yeah. Like, if you need help, ask. That's
right.
Not a virtue to never ask for help.
Has their own interests.
I mean, sure, everyone's got their own interests.
Not everyone has their own interests, but I think having somebody that's willing to, like, do something about it, right? Because, like I have my own interests, which is Yu-Gi-Oh, but I've done something about it. Like I go to tournaments. I've actively made Yu-Gi-Oh something that I enjoy and something that I do because I enjoy it.
I mean...
Y'all's is video games,
yeah,
right? You play video games together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? Emotionally stable. I think emotional stability is a pretty important thing because I've been in relationships that were not emotionally stable, and it's a challenge, and it's something that you as a person have to be really okay with and ready for. And I would say that I was not mature enough to really be in a relationship that did not have full emotional stability.
I mean, there's also a difference between being emotionally unstable, but you know, as one thing, and then as on the other, then there is knowing you are, and therefore are seeking active.
Right.
Like you're trying to fix it. If they're on the trying to fix it, I think that's fine.
Yeah, but to me, somebody that's not emotionally stable and doesn't realize that they're not emotionally stable, that starts getting like really dangerous.
Yeah, it can snowball horrendously. It has happened in my life from a roommate, not from.
Yeah. Can kick your butt in Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic and Pokemon.
If they can, cool. If not,
this is honestly the bottom of the scale for me. My wife doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, and she plays Pokemon VGC, but not competitively. She just like enjoys the video games. and she will sit down and play a game or two of Magic with me, but it's not like her idea of like the best evening, you know?
Yeah.
So, but as far as like, I would say, honestly, like has money, or like not even has money, but like responsible with money,
Yeah.
and open communicator, to me, are the two biggest ones.
Like, if it's a case of like they're good with money, but then they're like broke because, oh, well, they're a college student, so a lot of their time and money is going into that. I'm like, that's different from...
Right. When me and my wife got married, we were both broke. Neither of
Yeah.
us really had anything to our name, but through careful money management, we've done well for ourselves.
Yeah.
But has nothing to do with has money, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Don't ever get in a relationship because of the money. That's
right.
That's just a bad time for everyone involved.
Yes. Unless it's like Jeff Bezos, in which case, like, go for it. You know,
No.
personally, he's got 2 jets, one for him and one for his girlfriend. I'll be his boyfriend for a jet. I'm just saying, I would do that.
Yeah, moving right along.
Yeah, those are mine. Ken, Caleb, Dougie.
No.
I can go teach me how to Dougie, but I don't know how to actually Dougie.
Same.
Do you have a pet peeve when it comes to content for large and small creators?
I think one of my biggest pet peeves is whenever they're obviously faking their energy and emotional state, and you can tell.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Something that is just insane to me is when I watch a YouTube video and they have that like energy like you're talking about, where they're really high energy and they're like bombastic and over the top, and then like you meet them in person, or which I guess you can't hold that energy all the time.
Okay, so like great example is they start the YouTube video with like a crap ton of energy, and then you can tell that it's starting to wind down because they're getting tired, or that's just a quick burst of excitement for starting a video, and then it's winding down. But then they try to keep it up that high the entire video.
Mine is when they post YouTube videos with really high energy, and then they go over to like a live stream, and they have a completely different energy level in every live stream, and you realize that it's not that like that one live stream is a bad day, it's that they don't have that energy level normally, and they just put on that for YouTube. That's annoying. Like I just that YouTube energy is just like frustrating.
There is one exception to that though. If it's hey, we're just chilling this live stream. That's because the live stream is to chill out and relax and chat.
And there are like, I think that there's a difference between like actual excitement and actual genuine interest in the topic at hand, and like that fake excitement. Like, when somebody's excitement level is like too high, and it's just like,
another pet peeve.
It's an act.
Another pet peeve I have is like the fake voice, not where they're like pretending to have a different voice than what they actually have. When like the Watch Mojo voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you can tell it's fake.
Yeah.
Where they're not even really trying. They're just kind of half phoning it in.
Yeah. Do you make an effort to watch movies that get Oscar nominations near the end of the year?
Are they good? Like, are they like actually good?
I do not make any active effort to go out of way to watch movies because they got Oscar nominations.
No.
None.
Listen. I can't tell you what movies have gotten an Oscar. I can't. I've never watched the Oscars. If someone, I can't name a single movie that's even won an Oscar. Can't. I just don't care enough to attach a brain cell to it.
Yep. Is DC better than Marvel? Why?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So the earlier Marvel movies were great. Live action.
Like Iron Man, original Iron Man.
Yeah.
Movie.
The original Avengers. Well, Avengers was kind of
getting there.
Kind of boring. But then like all the Thor movies are great.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
What?
Let's not say they're all great. The second one is mid.
Fair enough. But you get what I'm saying. Like up until actually fairly recently, a vast majority of the live action Marvel stuff was really good. On the other hand, DC animation, easily some of the best superhero stuff you'll find.
What do you think about on a comic level?
I mean, from there, it just really depends on the individual writer, like about what era you're in individually, because characters change from era to era so drastically.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah. Okay. One of my favorite things I've seen that I revisited recently was from, I believe it was actually from the original Justice League cartoon, where the Justice League were after a villain. So they're like, hey, and Flash's like, hey, I know just the guy who would know more information about this. Goes to a bar, and it's a villain just sitting there at a bar. One of his villains, he's like, hey, listen, you haven't been taking your meds, have you? No, I have. You're in the suit. Oh, I am. Huh.
You're in the villain suit.
And they talk, he gets information, and he turns to leave, and one of the other heroes is like, but your arch enemy. Oh, right. Flash turns, looks at him like, hey, when you're done with that beer, turn yourself in. Got me again, Flash. And then the dude goes and turns himself in. You know, that's just...
I love the Justice League animated series from like 06, 07,
yes,
that time frame.
Oh, yeah, no, like
it was amazing.
The animated stuff is fantastic. There's a lot of great DC animated moments. And then of course DC is also more want to go into the darker side of being a superhero.
I would agree with that, yeah.
And they do wonderful things with it. There's a great example of Superman basically to defeat Doomsday accidentally supercharged his entire body.
Yeah.
With solar energy, and so now his cells are slowly exploding.
Okay.
Like he's dying, and he spends his last 24 hours just continuing to be Superman.
Okay.
It's great. I can talk about this for hours.
Okay, we don't have time for a couple more.
Yeah.
You are a gym leader in the Pokemon world.
Mm-hmm.
You get a team of 3 Pokemon to test an aspect of trainers coming through your region. What region, what's your team, and what quality of the trainer are you trying to test in them?
Only 3 Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's got to be like themed, obviously. So I actually put a little bit of thought into this in advance.
Okay.
So my team is normal type.
Mm-hmm.
And my Pokemon are Exploud, Snorlax, and I had a third normal type, but I don't remember what it was. But it was definitely Exploud and Snorlax. And the concept was to prove that you don't need extra special frills.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be super special to be good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I feel like in Pokemon especially, like normal types get overlooked a lot because they don't have all the special typings and things like that.
Not in Generation 1 they didn't.
Okay, well, Generation 1, sure. But like as time has gone on, normal types have, in my opinion, maybe become like the most cast aside typing. I mean, half the best normal types are fairies now.
No.
Half the normal types became fairies, like the old normal types.
No.
Half the old normal types became fairies. Yes, like Clefairy, Clefable, like Blissey, like all that kind of stuff. Like they became normal types. They became fairies.
No, like only two of the original normal types of the Gen 1 normal types became fairy type as well.
All right, well,
only 2 of them.
Fine. The point is,
like
you understand my point though, right?
Yeah, like the 3 best normal types of Generation 1, where if you're team building for Generation 1, you start with picking 2 of the 3 is Snorlax, Tauros, and Chansey.
Okay. I still think though that my approach is valid.
Yeah.
I still think normal types are
they're normal.
They're looked down on. Yeah, they're normal. They're like people don't really, and
people don't really look down on normal types. In so much as there's just not a lot strategically going for them because they're not super effective against anything.
Right.
And they don't resist anything, but they're weak to fighting. And they're immune to ghost.
Yeah.
That's about it. Thinking on it, I was also going to say...
Was Ursa Ring the third one?
Third one
for me?
Maybe.
I don't know. I had another normal type in mind, but I can't remember it.
I would my first, like...
'Cause this question is 2 weeks old.
Yeah. Like, my first, like, Twitch, like, choice would just be raw physical power. And then probably...
yeah, that's a very Caleb...
Yeah. And then, like,
answer.
ground types.
Ground types?
Just real bulky Pokemon.
Sturdy.
Yeah, just real bulky, sturdy Pokemon that just shrug off hits.
Yeah.
So, go on. Plow through them.
Okay.
So, less more of a type, more of a... just Pokemon with large defenses and large HP pools. So, Snorlax and Chansey would still... and Blissey would still... Chansey or Blissey would still be part of that. But then also, like, Aggron... Tyranitar, just big, bulky Pokemon.
Yes. Listening to the last episode of 2022, when you brought up how Duelist Nexus could be the next time Konami shakes up their ratios in their sets, do you think the TCG will bring back core set rares?
I hope not.
Agreed. I really hate rares.
It's not that I hate rares. I just kind of like that feeling of getting a holo every single pack now.
Yes.
It just feels better to me.
What if they did a holo and a rare in every pack?
I'd be fine with that.
I wouldn't. I hate rares.
Yeah.
Rares can just be deleted from the game. I'd be fine with that. Does Sunny and or Caleb have a favorite chess opening?
There are chess openings.
Do you know anything about chess?
I know how to play chess, but like the couple times where I do play chess, I don't put any thought into it.
You're like, oh, I can move this piece.
It's less I can move this piece, more of a I am going to move this piece.
Okay. So I've always been a fan of, I think it's called the Swedish opening. It's like the most standard opening in chess where you just do the king pawn out to allow your bishop and your queen to move out. And like the one that can do like a 4-turn checkmate. And like I generally always do that. Not because I always go for the 4-turn checkmate. Although, I mean, may as well give it a shot, right? But mainly because I just think it's a very advantageous position to be in early in the game. So I always do that.
I am confidently unplanned.
Confidently unplanned.
I do confidently unplanned moves.
And that's how I showed up, according to my parents. So. Okay, so the last question is, which Ishizu pieces could you beat in a fight?
Could I beat in a fist fight?
Yeah, which Ishizu pieces do you think you could beat in a fight?
Definitely not Medora.
Agreed. No shot against Medora for either of us.
That dude's jacked.
Medora is indeed jacked, yeah.
Let's see. Kelbeck is covered in metal, so maybe Keldo?
I would agree that Keldo is covered in metal and has a lot of claws and lightning.
Yeah, no, that's Kelbeck.
Kelbeck, yeah.
Maybe Keldo, because he's kind of scrawny and just...
Nah, the Keldo's got too big of a shield. I can't take Keldo either. And Keldo's a woman. I'm not gonna hit a woman if I can help it.
Well, if she's coming at me, I'm going to defend myself. And if she's coming at me with 2 shields, yeah, you just grab one and just shake it. They have no, really. You just if you're someone's coming at you with dueling shields like an idiot, you just grab one and then just kind of shake it around. And they have to either let it go or you hurt their wrist, possibly breaking their arm. A knight told me this.
All right, what about a Guido?
Also just covered in metal.
I don't know, man. A Guido, it's hard to get scale on. I don't know how big a Guido is.
That's also fair.
A Guido looks like it could be a golf ball that you stick in the ground with the tee.
That's fair. To be fair,
a Guido looks like a spiky testicle.
To be fair, we don't have scale for any of these dudes. Now I'm thinking about it.
Process what I just said.
No, I did.
Okay.
You didn't even go. But the nearest thing to skill we have for any of these dudes is Medora maybe being the size of a dude.
I think I cannot take a single one of these except maybe a Guido if I have a big enough golf club.
I think I could take Keldo.
Keldo, okay.
So one with 2 shields. The lady with 2 shields.
And I believe that Giant Skyhawk could take any of them, including Medora.
Oh yeah, no, even with the
big knives.
I forgot what those are actually called.
They're called knives.
They're not knives though. I think they're guitars.
No, they're knives.
Let me look at the handle again.
It's got a handle like a knife.
Oh no, you hold like this and you kind of punch with it. It's a guitar.
They're cool knives. Anyway, so now that I've thoroughly annoyed Caleb, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. Again, be sure to check out all of our sponsor links in the description and down below for Dragon Shield, Gem Tech, Millennium Threads, ETB, Steelfox, and TCG Player.
Yep.
All those. And also check out our Discord server. Be sure to check out our YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, depending on where you're at now. Go check out the other ones. And I think until next time, have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care, everyone.